With that, we're adding this place with the location. Now we can also output it. And I will start here in places list. There in this list tile, I don't want to show the map, but I do want to show the human readable address. And I want to show it as a subtitle below this title. Now conveniently, list tile has a subtitle parameter that can be set. And it can be set to a text widget, for example. And here I then therefore output places index. And then there I access the location and then the address, which is this human readable address. Now I also want to have some styling here. And for that we can copy the style from the title text and use that here in this text widget, which we use for the subtitle. And here I don't want to use title medium, but instead body small, this base text theme, but then also apply the on background color to it. With that, if you save this, we should be able to add a new place, Google Office, where we of course take a picture and then choose a location at the moment by getting the current location. And if we click add place, that's added, and we can see this human readable address here. So that's looking good. Now on the detail page, I now do want to show this map snapshot again, this image preview of the location. And for showing that on the place detail screen, we should go to the place detail.dart file. And there in this stack, I'll add another widget, the positioned widget, which we also saw before in the course, which is used for positioning widgets inside of that stack so that you control where it should be positioned on top of that other widget. And here the child I want to position will actually be a column widget. And we can and should add some positioning parameter values. And here I'll set bottom to 0 to make sure that this column of widgets, which I'm about to add, starts at the very bottom of this image, so of this stack. But since the image currently decides the width and height of that stack, it will be at the bottom of the image in the end. And I want it to span the entire width from left to right, which can be achieved by setting left and right to 0. So that in the end, this column which we're about to add here touches the bottom at the very bottom and the left and right on the very left and right edges. Now in this column, we of course need children. And here the children that should be added should be one circle avatar that should display this map preview. And then below that, I want to have a container, and I'm using a container for styling and positioning purposes, where in the end, I want to output some text, and that text should be that human readable address again. And for that here, if we start with the text should be place, using this place property, which we have here, .location.address, and some styling, which I will again copy from places list.dart. I'll copy that style here, and back on place detail dart, I want to use that style for this text here, for this address text. But I don't want to use body small here, but instead title large. Now on the container that contains this text, I want to add alignment and set this to alignment center to center it horizontally and vertically. And the text here should also always be aligned in the center by using text align and then text align.center. And back on the container, I want to add some padding with const edge insets. And then here I'll actually not use all, but instead symmetric to set a different horizontal and vertical padding. The horizontal padding here for me should be 24. Vertical padding could be 16. Last but not least, I want to add some decoration here by creating a box decoration object. And this can be a const object because I want to add a gradient, a little background gradient behind that text, this address text, which we're in the end outputting here. And for that, I'll create a linear gradient here, as we also did it before in this course. And for the colors, I'll go for colors transparent as a starting color and end at colors black 54, which is a slightly transparent black. You could of course also pick your own colors, but with that I'll simply add that there is a slight transparent black background behind this text, which will also ensure that this text stays readable. Now on this gradient, I'll then also set begin and begin should be alignment top center, so that we become more and more transparent towards the top, and end should be alignment bottom center. And with that, we're outputting and styling the address. Back in the circle avatar, I want to output that map. Now for that, we'll need that same preview link that we also used in location input. So I'll simply go there and grab this getter. We could also outsource it into a separate file, but here I'll simply copy and paste it here into place detail as a getter. And I'll keep the name location image, but of course we don't have a picked location here. We just have a place, and it will never be null here per definition, because we don't allow null input values. So we don't need this check. And instead I can just extract my latitude, and we don't need the exclamation mark, and also the longitude, but of course not directly from the place, but there from the location property instead. So we should access the location property. With that, we get the location image though, and now we can use this location image here in the circle avatar. There I'll set a radius of 70 to create a perfect circle. And then we can again set background image here to an image, this time using the network image provider, which takes a URL as an input. And with that, we should be displaying this preview snapshot. Now with that, if you save this, you should already see it as this updates here, that you have the address at the bottom with this slight transparent black background, which is fading out towards the top. And you have this circle avatar that shows you the location. And that's the look I want to have here. Now soon, this should also be tappable to open a map where we can view this place. But before we add this functionality, I first of all want to make sure that this select on map button also opens a map and allows us to pick a place on that map.